¿Viste?
¿Qué?
¿Qué? Mira, ¿qué tienes ahí? Ay, mira, 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 mira. Está guapo.
No, pero no es, ¿no?
No, sí es. Tiene su portafolio y todo. Dale, voy a hablar con él.
Debes andar perdido. No sé si alguien te dijo, pero ese es un bar de gays. ¿Cómo es que no te he visto por aquí antes?
¿A poco conoces a todos por aquí?
Casi.
Pues entonces tienes que saber quién soy yo.
¿Eres chilango? ¿Llevas un par de años viviendo aquí? ¿Mm? ¿Eres... ¿Qué eres?
I Carry You With Me. I'm just curious, the title, Heidi, just tell us for a beat, was that always in your mind as the title of this movie, or?
I called it, for many years, I call it The Arrivals, before the movie Arrival came out, the science fiction movie.
Oh, yes, okay.
And immediately that, but I would have had to change the title anyway, because I started to think about this movie under Barack Obama in a different kind of world. And somehow calling it The Arrivals somehow had some kind of like political, they're arriving, I don't know, somehow it wouldn't have been anyway. For months, I was reading Mexican poetry and Spanish poetry and trying to find a title that would work in both languages. Te llevo conmigo and I Carry You With Me. It was tricky to find a title that worked in both. But for me, the movie is about memory and about what we give up and what we bring with us. And so in the end, I kind of liked that there was like multiple meetings of I Carry You With Me. I carry you with my heart. I carry you with me to the United States. So in the end, I settled on that, but very, very late into the process, just before Sundance.
Yeah, it's poignant. It's bittersweet, right? But there's so much love in this movie. So tell me how Armando and Heidi and how you guys met and sort of the genesis of this. It feels almost like the intersection of a great documentary and a great narrative scripted feature. So how did that all come together?
Well, I've been making documentaries for a lot of years. And so with my first narrative, I felt like this needed a narrative treatment, this story, even though it's based on two really good friends of mine. It's a true story. But it's such an epic and there's so much love and romance that I felt that it really needed the narrative treatment. And so I went to the business of writing the screenplay. But what I didn't want to do in making my first narrative is abandon an aesthetic that I've come to enjoy, and also the concept of voyeurism, which I've been practicing for many, many years. Something about this film needed that voyeurism. There are people, doing things slightly clandestinely and are meeting up furtively and living in a conservative town in the early 90s, surrounded by risk of losing a job or family or one son, not necessarily, overt physical risk. I didn't want to conflate it, but sort of the idea of observing and flowing and sort of the camera not anticipating what was going to happen next. That was a big thing that I discussed a lot with my cinematographer Juan Pablo Ramirez, which was like we didn't rehearse on like we would rehearse in advance, but we didn't do blocking, for example, which I don't know if that was different for Armando. He should probably speak to that. But I really wanted the takes to shoot the rehearsal basically on the set, so we could sort of try to get that unanticipated feeling throughout the film, which is kind of tricky to do, I realize, when you do multiple takes. And when things would get sort of stale, we would start improvising. The last take was always improvised. And often I used that take. So Armando, I don't know if process.
Yeah, it was with Heidi, it was everything new.
every day. She always wanted to try new things and new ways to do the same things. It was crazy. It was a huge learning that I got from this movie, to just to be open on whatever. I mean, we built this trust to each other in order to really collaborate.
Yeah.
So yeah, every time Heidi asks something new and crazy, because she used to do that a lot, I just knew that she knew what he wanted to achieve. Sometimes I didn't understand why, but it was nice to just let myself go and not think that much and not asking so many questions. Just be in the situation. And it's beautiful because Heidi likes to play. Heidi likes to have the material, a lot of kinds of material, and just to play and put the pieces in different orders. But I was so glad when I finally watched the movie, and I got to see the feeling of nostalgia in every shoot, and that you can sometimes, maybe it's because I did it, but I could smell. I could feel the smells and the textures of things and the lighting. So it was kind of a puzzle for me just to make the movie and then watch it. It was kind of, how do you came up with this? It was nice to work with Heidi.
So let's talk about the scene. Yeah, where was that? Was that in Mexico City or Puebla? You were in a gay bar.
Well, the scene, that was a dilapidated, a vacated mansion falling apart in Mexico City, but it's supposed to be Puebla. It looks like Puebla. And basically it's based on the telling of the story by my friends Iván and Gerardo, is how they met. They're including the laser pointer, because Gerardo was a teacher. He had the laser pointer in his briefcase. He had this cute idea. And I always was charmed by the laser pointer. I thought it was charming. I thought it was cute. It was gorgeous. Funny.
Wonderful, yeah.
Idea, you know? And in fact, that was the crew gift, was a laser pointer with the name of the film on it that everybody got to use for flirting in the future. And so I was taken by that flirtatious, like audacious little move. And yeah, it was actually the real Bar Franca was now gone. The roof fell in Puebla, but we had a lot of fun scouting and looking for the exact right spot where, like, if you walk by, you don't really know anything's going. You got to know that there's a bar in there. You know, it was like part of that like little subculture. And well, Armando can tell you our rehearsal process for that, but the idea was show, not tell. And I wrote a 115-page script, and the final shooting script, the final film is 70 pages, all told, because we just kept taking dialogue away and going. Yeah. So that's something that Armando and Christian and I worked on a lot.
That was actually one of the audition scenes, remember, Heidi? It was one of the first scenes that I got access to. And it was cute. It was cute just to imagine the laser point, just using that for flirting. It was fun. It was cute. But then we used to have a lot of text around it. You remember, Heidi, at the beginning, a lot of conversations, and we did a lot of rehearsal.
Because of too much talking, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, too much talk. And we did some rehearsals with that material, and it was so helpful because it was our first introduction to the characters, and it was so helpful just to know what they think and say, and then just to not say anything. Just let yourself think on the action. And it was so fun because Heidi shoot the same scene in different situations and moments.
Yeah.
So just to put yourself in automatic way, I don't know how to say that in English, but cuando te pones en, sí, when you just let yourself go, and if they change your location to do the same scene, what things change on you. It was so fun. It was so fun to do.
I felt bad that I made you do that because in the end, I did it so simply in the final edit. Lisa, I'm a big fan of the Limey, and I always loved how Steven Soderbergh recorded the same scene in like 6 locations, and then he would intercut, and he would use the cutaway during the, like I would be talking to you and you'd only see my reaction during my dialogue. I call it the limey cut. I've done it like once in a documentary, and I've always thought, oh, this is a good, because this is all about what are they thinking? What is the expression on their face? Does the dialogue really matter? So we shot the same scene in 4 different parts of the mansion. And I was intercutting it, and I realized that for an act 1 scene, it was too showy. It was like too processed. I was taking away from the meeting by running the scene. So I learned also as a director to just simplify, stop trying to show off, and do limey and do something cool. Don't do the cool. Let's develop these guys. Let's create the sex appeal between them. So also as a director, I failed at this thing I tried, which we rehearsed a lot, and I think it helped the performances. But in the end, it's a pretty simple, straightforward, 1 location in the bathroom scene.
But I think simplicity is like underestimated. And, as a moviegoer, sometimes you just want to be absorbed in a moment.
Yeah.
And it was universal. It was a universal language, and I think that's the strength of all of it, of your work, Armando, and just of the concept of the film.
Thank you. I think Heidi made me feel that she wanted to watch something from us, from Christian and I, not the characters. It was a mix between the characters and what we had together. Christian and I as actors, as human beings. So for me, all the play that she was doing, and you, Heidi, making us do the scene in different ways, and it was helpful because I got to understand that you want something different each time, and I needed to be open to give you that. So it was flattering in a way, just to understand that you wanted a mix of both the actor and the character. I think that's nice.
We had fun. Every day they would show up, and Christian, who couldn't be with us today, would say, vamos a jugar, let's play. What are we going to do? And so it became sort of like playtime after fun. And that was where we started getting real cooking with gas, I thought, when everyone was like, how should we, there was definitely a freeing for all of us. And it was so nice for me as a first-time narrative director to have people down to try stuff.
Well, I think that's where your great, experience and skill as a documentarian, knowing, kind of feeling in your gut, what is authentic? What does it look like? Mm-hmm. That's what you go out and do with the documentary, right? And I might be wrong in reading into it, but watching it, I really felt that, and I felt you as a filmmaker doing something very skillful that I admired a lot.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, it was very, obviously, it was scary for me. I've been making films for a long time, but there is that chasm between and it shouldn't be minimized, that learning gap also between the 2 forms. And I had never directed actors before. So I was very, very lucky that the cast was willing to kind of go along with me and trust in the process. I was changing things. I co-wrote the movie as well. So in rehearsal, we would change dialogue and things because certain things I could tell weren't coming out the right way, even though the Spanish was perfect in the script. And so I worked a lot with the actors, asking them their personal stories and things like that as well. So there was a lot of conversation about accuracy. And I asked, please help me get it right. If this doesn't feel right, you must tell me. Obviously, I make the final call, but in terms of just how it's feeling, and does this feel real, and would you say it a different way, and hugely important. You didn't want to get that wrong. So luckily, it was based on true events, and so I was able to meet the original owner of the bar, the real Kukusa. And so everyone was very much, I won't say policing, that doesn't sound fun. Super like, let's help her get it right. Let's make, and that was major. That was major. Everyone was invested. And I wanted them to feel like it's a Mexican film, and they do. So that was really like a big, big part of shooting in Mexico, is making sure that I was getting guidance.
Yeah. For me, it had a universal feeling, and I'm really glad that people are going to be able to see it.
2021, baby.
Oh my God, it's going to be better, I hope. So you guys, good luck with the movie. I really wish you all the best. I think it's just beautifully done. I've said it a few times, but bravo.